Hey everybody, welcome to The Well. This is the show where we do what you do, and we're going to take you on that journey to see how we've developed our financial advisory practice as digital marketers turned financial advisors.
All right, welcome back to episode 8. We got a lot to cover in this episode.
Yeah, this is going to be a big. It's actually not our final installment of the seminar replay series, but this is the 8th episode of the seminar replay series, and after this one, we're going to take a break and go into our seminar operations series. So we're really excited about that. We'll always come back to the seminar replay series from time to time because we'll give you updates on where things are at. But
right, we're nothing if not consistent. So
that's right.
Yep, the last episode we did, I think, was covering a March campaign that we ran, and this episode we're going to talk about September. We basically changed everything, or no, August. September, August.
August.
We're getting lost.
Yep.
This will cover August, and then we're going to catch you up, on all the stats and everything and see like where we're at, kind of catch you up to speed. But didn't want to cover really through that early summer period because we didn't change much. We ran seminar still, was consistent doing it, but pretty much ran them the same.
Yeah, I think I was putting together the stats for this episode because we'll talk through them at the end. Were there 11 that we did from? It was March 30th through August 15th, which is the one we're going to cover now.
Yeah.
So we did quite a few seminars, but like Richy said, we kind of settled into a groove and didn't change a lot from like the format and where we went and all that stuff. So
yeah, we had the process now. We felt like a good rhythm going, and it's sort of when you're split testing, you don't want to change everything at once, which we did for August. And we'll talk about that. But for that period, it was like, okay, let's let it run and see, if it's consistent for us.
Yeah. So the one we're going to cover today is Stone Creek, Noblesville. So this has been our most frequent venue. Yep. I was about to say our most popular venue,
I saw you catch yourself.
Not so much. So, but the biggest thing that we changed right out of the gate was the way we give the presentation. And the reason for that was this podcast, actually.
Yeah. I think it surprised us even.
Yeah.
The first time we put an episode out, it got really good feedback from it. And we had another one, got really good feedback from it. And it was like, you guys do a really good job of this kind of back and forth presentation style, which we already knew to be true because whenever we go to, stages and stuff for groups that we work with or whatever, we almost always enjoy the Q&A portion more than the speaking portion.
Yeah.
Just because I think people come in with random questions and you and I are really good off of playing off each other and just like you answer it and I answer it. It's just back and forth and it kind of good dialogue. So we got really good feedback from this show and it was like kind of a light bulb. Hey, let's change this up.
Yeah. I mean, if the chemistry's there, which it is.
So much chemistry.
There's so much chemistry.
Oh, man.
Just look deep into my eyes.
If we go on trips, we got to...
So yeah, I think we had the whole team watch through the first few episodes. Crystal and Hannah watched through it. Some family members watched through it. And I don't remember who it was, but somebody was like, why aren't you guys doing that in the seminar? It gives you so much more credibility to both of you.
Yep.
If you, A, present the way you guys are most natural at presenting, and B, you're sharing that content instead of it just being like, Richie's the hype man and Andrew's the educator, and then this weird kind of like who does what thing. So I think it was a big shift, but a good one.
Yeah, up to this point, we've already talked about this, but if you haven't watched all the previous episodes, first go do that. But as a really quick catch up, I always introduce the seminars up to this point. Probably spend 15 minutes introducing myself, introducing plan-wise, introducing RA even, and how we all work, how this operates, and then what we're going to talk about tonight, what to expect from it, and then, go over kind of the housekeeping, how long is it going to last, hold your questions, that kind of stuff. And then I would invite Andrew up. Andrew would do all the pillars. We do 5 pillars kind of in our seminar. So he would talk about all of those, and then I would come up at the very end and close it down. But your part was probably 30 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm pushing, I can get it done in 30, usually 35, 40 if I'm taking my time and going through each section, thoroughly. And so that put us at right about an hour. 45 minutes to an hour was kind of where we were at, because we do have that 5-minute break towards the end to kind of give us a little bit of breathing room. And it worked well. I mean, we had good success with it, but I think just the natural chemistry that Richy and I have made it kind of a no-brainer to make this shift.
It did. And in our appointments, we've actually made it a point to tell people you and I host our own appointments. because a lot of times at these seminars, we'll get the appointments and then they come up and say, hey, so am I going to be meeting with you or one of your guys, or how's that going to work? And we say, no, Andrew and I take as many as we can. Both of us sit at the same table and do the appointment. So splitting the presentation, I think, in the teaching portion of it, kind of even that out a little bit too.
Yeah.
Where they're not just looking at you now for all the pillars, because I also taught on a few. Mm-hmm. So now it evened it out, I think, which has been nice.
Yeah. And I'm really pleased with the way that turned out. So essentially, now we split up the entire presentation. So Richy still kicks it off, welcomes everybody in, tells his joke, and kind of warms up the room a little bit.
Yep.
Introduces himself and Hannah.
Hannah first.
Got to do that.
Better half first.
That's right. And then it transitions over to me, and I talk through who I am. I introduce my family and my wife as a part of it, because they are a big part of the business. And I think that's actually been a big help to us. We've had a couple of people recently tell us like that the reason they set an appointment was a spouse, or the reason they set an appointment was because they really resonated with kind of the connection, the vulnerability that we made with them during that part of the presentation. So it wasn't the 5 pillars that got them to fill out the blue sheet. It was the personality and the vulnerability and the stories that we share at the beginning of the
Remember, the seminar is them getting to know you.
Yep.
That's it. We want them to like us and schedule an appointment. That's all we're doing on the seminar. So we really go into the family thing, which for us is true because, like you said, Hannah and Crystal are pivotal. Yeah. We can't do what we're doing without them doing what they're doing. They're just equally as involved. So it is that family flavor, family feel, and they all have really picked up on that.
Yeah. And so once we get through the intro stuff, we do talk about the 5 pillars and the order that we talk about those, and we'll go into that more in the operations series. We'll talk through the actual presentation and how we give it and the kind of stories that we tell. But we go through inflation first, and Richy takes that one. And then we go into taxes after that. I take that one, and Social Security's after that. Richy takes that one. Then I take market volatility, and Richy closes it out with fees. And really the key, I think, to all of those sections isn't that we're giving groundbreaking information so much as we're just telling stories and giving some relevant information about each of those topics. And one of the things that we say throughout the presentation is like, hey, we can't go into extreme detail on these topics because everybody's situation is so nuanced and different. Like that's what part 2 is about. Like we're here in part 1
That's right.
So I think breaking it up that way has really even made that message more powerful too. So it's been really, really good.
We slam that home. Mm-hmm. We slam it home right from the beginning. We're telling you it's a 3-part process, and we say this tonight is about it's content that you care about. It's stuff that's in the news that you're worried about. It's things that's on your mind. You didn't come here for just food. We've talked about all these in private, in prior episodes. This is some of the things that we say to condition the room to be ready to receive the information and ultimately make the appointment. But you're not here for all those things. You're here because there's something on your mind. We're gonna hit on those things. But today is really about getting some information and then scheduling your appointment. Yeah. After that, we're not talking business at all. We're breaking bread. We're having having a meal together, getting to know our tables. And then in part 2 and 3, and we tell them there's too much expertise out there for you to be walking around this planet with questions about your retirement. There's just no reason that you should be stressed or concerned or anything like that. So be honest with yourself, write down your concerns on your blue sheet. In part 2, man, we're going to get to work. We're going to get everything answered for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. We also made, looks like 5 other updates to the presentation. Like Richy said, we try not to make too many changes because if you're split testing, it's like what worked, what didn't.
But with 20-some events under our belts, like we know at this point what can be shifted.
Yep.
And we did it weeks in advance, right? It definitely wasn't the day before we were doing some of this stuff.
Oh, yeah. We weren't updating the final things
definitely not
the day before the presentation or anything like that. The first thing we did was the video. I don't know if we haven't talked about this much at all, but
I don't think we have. Yeah.
When people get to the seminar, we have a video playing. Really, we have a video looping for the 30 minutes prior to the seminar, and it's pictures of us and our families and partners and people that we work with, and we've always had some kind of pretty basic retirement trivia in there. But Richy had, I think, kind of a really good idea for updating that video.
Yeah, I wanted it to be more entertaining.
Yeah,
but more gripping because it is such a good filler. If you don't have a video, find a way to get a video at the front. And I might know a guy sitting in front of me if you need a video. You can put your stuff on there, Ethan. Just flash it real quick. Just take it down. But the video has been a great filler because people come in and it's, we always have the room turn the music off. So it's very quiet. And if they're sitting there very quiet, it gets a little awkward. Mm-hmm. So we play this video and it's, like Andrew said, I plan wise we're family. We show the families first. And then typically we went into questions that really I didn't like. They were very boring boilerplate retirement planning questions. So I made it fun. I put in like some trivia, I don't even remember them now. When did, in what year or what happened in 1951? And it's like, 4 things they could pick. Or I tried to pick things that were like, 60s, 70s, kind of get that nostalgia going, they would be excited about to answer. So that was those. And then I filled in after every trivia question was like a joke. Mm-hmm. Why does it, I'm trying to draw a blank on some of them. Why does it take, or why do retirees never clean out their garage? I think is what it was.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. And it's like, because they know as soon as they do, their kids will try to fill it with all their junk.
Yeah.
Stuff like that they can relate to as retirees. And it's like, so I did notice this time a little bit more interaction and engagement with that video and kind of laughing at it, looking at it. I also made it a little bit longer and then, like you said, looped it because we typically, if our seminar starts at 6 p.m., we usually don't kick off till 6:10, I would say 6:15 at the latest, but
yeah, it was good. I really liked the new update to the video. We also put more about our team in there too, to kind of enhance the credibility aspect of what we do. It's not just 2 guys, right. It's us, our wives, and our whole team behind us. So we put a little bit more substance back there behind all that. So one of the things that we did at the end of the seminar, so we're going to jump back and forth between the beginning and the end, is we put up a picture of several of the clients that we've worked with, because we kind of view what we're doing with these retirees as these are becoming a part of our family, right? And we're trying to take that attitude towards the plan. We're not just selling them a product. We're not just shoving them into an annuity or whatever. We're trying to actually help them plan their retirement so they can enjoy it, much like we would if it were our parents or our grandparents or aunts and uncles. And so at the end of the presentation, kind of the final call to action, instead of fill out your blue sheet and make sure you set an appointment, it's like, hey, we'd love to have you become a part of the family. And we have a slide up there with 10 or 15 pictures of clients that we've worked with and that we've set up on plans. And every time we do that now, we take a quick selfie with them and they become a part of the presentation. So I think that was a really genius move on your part too.
I do too. And if you're not doing it, do it. Start taking pictures with your clients. It's never been awkward.
No.
Right? I mean, as soon as we, basically the way that we do it, as soon as we submit.
It has been awkward once.
Which one?
The last one.
Okay. We don't have to talk about that one. That did get weird.
That got weird.
Yeah, she had no filter.
None.
She asked us for the picture so she could show her friends. So you can draw your own conclusions how that went.
Yeah, it was awkward.
Yeah. But we always just do literally get my phone out and we just do a selfie style with the client in the middle.
Yep.
And that's been really fun and good, and it's very candid. It doesn't look staged or fake.
Right.
And so we put that on the side and we say, look, we want you to be part of our family, and we mean it. We put our presentation is riddled with family stories, parent situations, uncles, sisters, like it's in there. So yeah, we want you to be part of the family. We're gonna take care of you just like we do them.
Yeah, you touched on something I think is important. Like it's 2023, almost 2024. Almost everybody has a smartphone.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hope so.
Most everybody has a smartphone.
My dad still doesn't, but he doesn't count.
Almost everybody that's a financial advisor that's doing this. Like, my point is, get comfortable taking pictures and doing some videos. It doesn't have to be high-end professional gear. That's nice. And if you're really trying to invest in it, absolutely go that far. But if you're just trying to get some content for your social media or for your seminar presentation or your Facebook ads or just your office, doesn't matter. Take some pictures. The cameras that we have on our phones today take as good a picture as darn near anything, and you can get those things printed. One of our clients on the marketing side encouraged us to do that way back in January. He's like, get pictures of your clients, print them, put them up in your office, and this and that. That doesn't work for everybody's office, but it's a great idea because it shows that you're a real person, that you actually have clients, and the technology you need for it is almost always in your pocket. Just take pictures.
Just take pictures. There's a carrier rep that I know. I won't say his name or the carrier, but he does such a good job. And he's always at these events seeing clients and like groups and different things and doing booths. And he crushes it just with his phone. Just take a picture. So we actually used that as inspiration. We went to our last event and we were just grabbing people like, hey, take a picture with us. And the engagement on social media is so much bigger with that than just a static picture, of the room or the hotel or whatever. It's like, no, get your face in there, be a little bit more personal, but definitely use your phone and take pictures of your clients. It's been great. And then a tip that we got from an advisor that does a heck of a lot more production than we do. Mm-hmm. He prints those out and puts them all over his wall. We went to his office, and like the entire office, it is just covered, thousands of pictures of his client. You can't go in there and meet with him and be like, this guy doesn't, it's clear. He works with a ton of people. Yeah. And you can tell just by the wall. It's pretty cool.
And the reason it's very strategic. He's a psychological guy. Yeah. Very strategically does that. And his philosophy behind it, he shared with me, is like, listen, when you're new in this business, or even if you've been in the business for a while, if you don't have people's pictures up, you're always going to get asked for referrals.
Yeah.
Before people sign up, they're going to say, hey, who can you send to me that's worked with you before that I can talk to? And he's like, look, I can do that. I can have a list of names of people that they could talk to, but now I got to have them harassing my clients and this and that. He's like, I'd rather just handle that objection without even really handling it. I just have my clients' pictures everywhere. There's big smiling faces. Everybody's happy. They don't necessarily need or want to ask for a referral at that point because they can see that my clients are happy. I'm not afraid to put their pictures up because I know that if I bump into them at the grocery store or Walmart, whatever, I'm not going to run in the other direction. So,
and I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we've had anybody ask us for references or referrals since we bolstered that part of.
No.
It's been complete opposite. People assume,
right,
like almost that we're bigger than we are, and they're not sure. Like I said earlier, am I going to meet with you guys or
right?
Like it's almost been really so. Get your pictures out there. If nothing else, credibility is such a big part of this business.
Yeah,
you have to have it, and that's such an easy way to do it for free.
Yeah, I was talking to an agent yesterday. He's like, "Oh, should I hire this agency to help me with my Facebook page and this and that and the other thing?" And I'm like, "Do you have a smartphone?" He's like, "Yeah." Take some pictures.
Yeah, just do it.
Pictures of you and your dog and your kids and your clients. Like, just put some pictures on your social. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be these like these weird like profound statements from Harry Truman or whatever. You don't have to have this like well curated social media. I mean, that's nice,
right?
But honestly, the raw, organic, kind of authentic stuff pulls better on social media anyway. Just do that.
All right. Speaking of pictures, there's a picture that you put in this presentation.
Which one?
The August campaign.
Oh, the big red ball?
The big red ball. Let's talk about the picture.
So we've talked about the red ball before in previous episodes. The red ball is that thing in the prospect's mind that is in the way. It's that thing that's obstructing their ability to be happy and healthy in retirement, whatever. Richy makes the analogy with his Air Force story about the red balls.
Something's broken, it's got to get fixed, otherwise the plane can't complete its mission. That's the same thing in retirement.
Right. So I had this bright idea to do a little pattern interrupt in the presentation. And pattern interrupt is where I think it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. You're going through kind of a process of things and something really significant changes during the presentation or the video or the music or whatever to get people's attention, kind of shock them back into listening. Because, you're kind of taking them on this journey and maybe they're starting to fall asleep and you break it and bring them back. So we were going through the presentation. I don't know why I put it where I put it, but just like in the middle of like the process description, there's this guy who's like 70 years old standing next to this like 8-foot big rubber ball that's red. And like, it was just this weird like transition point. And I'm like,
so weird.
So we did it twice.
Yeah.
And immediately after the second time, I was like, Rich, that's gotta go. Cause
I'm like, thank God. I remember in the jam session, cause if you have a partnership, sometimes your business partner just does something and you know it means something to them. So you just let it ride. And we're in our creative meeting. We're going over the presentation. And Andrew's like, I got this great idea. We're going to put this big red ball right here. I love it. He's getting all cheesy. Like, I love it. And I'm like, okay, yeah, why don't you do that slide? So I'm like, I don't know what to do with that.
I'm going to let you crash and burn, Andrew.
I don't know what to do with that.
Oh, man.
So we put it in there. What I do like about it is it added personality. Even if they didn't, because the audience did not react. There was no smile at all. It was flat. But at least it was some personality. Mm-hmm. You put it in there. We did the big red ball, but we did take it out.
Yeah, that we shot that thing right in the head.
Yeah, but moving forward, we do still talk about the red ball ahead of time. That way, when I tell the story at the end, it kind of connects that bridge, that dot. So it served its purpose. We just got rid of the picture.
Yeah, we learned our lesson from it. It wasn't a failure.
No.
We did take the lesson away. Talking about the red ball then is important because it ties into the end of the seminar.
Right.
But doing it that way was not necessary.
Nope.
Not necessary at all. What was the next thing we changed here? Included several client case studies, risk analysis, money shot, as well as market versus FIA slides.
Yep. So important. I think this was a mixture of, we picked it up again from an agent that we went and saw a seminar from, where he constantly was talking about people in his office. I had this person and this was their scenario and this is what we did and it fixed it. And we saw it resonating with the audience really well. So I think part of that was, okay, let's start including real life case studies where it makes sense. And then the other part is, I want them to understand what they're going to get in parts 2 and 3, especially part 3, because you don't get the goods until you get to part 3 with us. Obviously, if somebody needs Social Security report, whatever, we'll pump that out for them. But you don't get the goods, the real plan, until you get to part 3. And we wanted to show them, what do you get in part 3? And that's what we put in the slides.
I thought that was really good, because it's some of the reports that we put together for part 3 are pretty complicated. But what we've noticed is that the people that now get to part 3, when they see those things on the presentation, they're like, I remember this.
Yes.
I remember this from, your part 1. They now have this visual representation, this cue. It's like, oh, I've made it. I've made it to the part in the process where they told me I was going to get. And it's, like you said, telling those stories kind of throughout each section. We tell about a solution that we came up with for inflation, for taxes, for Social Security, for, market volatility and fees. And there's real stories that from real clients. They're not just these contrived stories that we're making up. This is like an actual situation where we've helped somebody and we've, this was on this particular topic.
Yeah,
so
it's authentic, and it will help you too.
Yep.
And they get excited. And then in part 3, when we start, we put that little magic guy on there again, a little Salt Bay, and we say, you remember this? Okay, but take a time out real quick, because this is why we love what we do. We have spent several hours combing through everything, putting together this plan. We've put it together in this presentation for you, and we're excited about it. We want you to be excited about it, because this is your chance. This is the answers that you've been looking for. We kind of position it that way, getting them excited, getting the spirits up, so that now when we go through the pitch, they're not down here, they're up here. Yeah. That's been really important as well. And you also added the FIA slide, I think, in this one.
I did. Yeah. So what we added there is basically, what if there was an alternative when we talk about market volatility? I don't specifically call it an indexed annuity in the presentation. I basically I talk about market volatility like I've always done, and then say, but does that mean you should be 100% risk adverse? Because nobody should be 100% risk adverse, right? And I say, well, what if there's an alternative? And then I just basically show them the standard deviation chart of the S&P 500 with, what that's done over the course of the last 30 years. And then I do the whole, I think it's an American Equity thing, the power of zero line. I didn't take it from American Equity, but it's the same concept where, basically this account participates at, 50% of what the S&P 500 does, except when it goes down. And I show them what that would look like over a 30-year period. And it's kind of compelling right now, because in 99, if you start with $100,000, of course, there's a lost decade in there. That's always an eye opener for some people. And it wasn't until 2021 that the S&P 500 finally caught back up to an index that was participating at 50%. And then when it did, 2022 happened and it went right back down. So I was like, what if you retired right here? Yeah, you'd feel like you were on top of the world. But if you start taking withdrawals from that account, that problem is exacerbated. So that's been a really good kind of talking point for people. And again, that's a slide that came right out of our part 3 presentation. It wasn't necessarily designed for the presentation at the seminar, but we realized that it was a compelling message during part 3. And so let's give them a little teaser of, what we're going to go into in part 3. And so that slide came right out of that presentation and went into the part 1 presentation. So that's been helpful. And I think it kind of gives a little bit more meat to that section too.
I love it.
And
it's
been good.
It helps the flow of the part 3, like you said before. Just to double tap on that, it's you say it in part 1, we say it again in part 3. They're already familiar with it. There's no objections. There's no questions. They're already there knowing what to expect. Yep. So super smooth.
Yep.
It wasn't smooth.
Yeah. I do know it wasn't smooth.
Yeah.
Big Red Ball and one other thing that Andrew had a great idea on that wasn't so great.
Hey, it was a great idea. And it did evolve our practice forward.
Once again, the failure of the idea resulted in an amazing lesson that has now made things far more efficient for us.
So is there any such thing as a failure?
No.
Nope.
Lessons.
There you go.
Yep. So what we did was we signed up for Calendly and paid for the pro level so we could have lots of different options and this and that. And the big idea was, hey, let's put the QR code for the the event specific to this seminar on the screen and on the blue sheet and in a couple of different places. And rather than forcing people to pick times on the blue sheet, we'll just have them scheduled right there on their phones, right? It's 2023. We can have people use this technology. Well, I didn't set it up right. And
sorry, I'm coughing during your spiel here.
That's fine.
Somebody woke me up early this morning for this.
Well, we got lots to do, man. We got,
I don't even think the sun was up yet. Andrew's like, let's get going, guys.
Yeah, I already got my 2 miles in before the sun came up, man. You gotta get up and move.
I was 2.5 miles in.
Okay.
You texted me.
Good. So I put I failed to set the event up correctly. It wasn't synced with the calendars quite right, and the options that were available on the blue sheet versus what was available in Calendly wasn't working, and so nobody used it. And a couple people tried, and it didn't work, and it was a complete abject failure. So much so that I went home and reprinted the blue sheets for the second seminar that day, and took the QR code off, revamped the whole thing that afternoon because I was like, this is not going to work. But the positive that came out of it is now we've built out a really robust appointment confirmation system that is automated. And so now, after the fact, after the seminar, we still use Calendly. We have them do the manual, fill out the blue sheet, pick the times, and we make sure those times are matched up with what's available in Calendly when we print the blue sheet. And now Crystal doesn't have to go and manually email everybody and like manually do all this stuff after the seminar, because she was spending... day after the seminar, she was spending 8-9 hours just going through all that stuff, making sure everything was lined up, getting all the stuff on the calendar, sending all the emails, filling out the CRM, doing all the stuff. Now, all she has to do is type in their name, their email, and their phone number into Calendly, and instantly they get a text message, they get an email, they get all the links and the stuff that they need for confirmation. And Crystal and I were actually just talking about this yesterday. I think our stick rate on appointments from the last 2 seminars that we've done this has gone up by 25 or 30%. We still have the people that ghost us and no-show us and all this stuff. But without question, what's improved is the responsiveness even from the people that are canceling. So if we, if we have an event, as you all know, if you have an event, you get 10 appointments, 2 or 3 of those are not coming in. And normally, prior to this, they just wouldn't show up.
Yep.
Or we wouldn't find out until 10 minutes before when, we're checking, we're offering to bring them coffee or something.
That's right.
They're like, oh yeah, I'm not coming. Now it seems like if we get a cancellation, it's happening 2 or 3 days in advance in conjunction with the emails that are going out from our Calendly service. Because Calendly has high deliverability.
Yep.
A small business's email servers may not have as high deliverability. So if Crystal sends an email, they may never see it because it goes to their spam filter or their junk folder or whatever. Calendly doesn't do that because they've got such a high reputation with email servers. So those emails are getting through, 999 times out of 1,000, and those people are getting those confirmation messages.
Yeah, and the cool thing is too, like the at the seminar, most of the time they're entering it right there before it's even over. And as soon as you enter it, that person gets a text and an email.
Yep.
Like almost instantaneously. You guys know how Calendly works. I mean, I'm sure you use it or something similar. If you don't, I mean, it's $8 a month or something like that.
Super cheap.
It's a no-brainer. Definitely use it. But the perception builder, the credibility builder, again, all this stuff, making yourself look way bigger than maybe you are. Everything's smooth. Everything is user experience. Yep. Everything. Facebook only makes money from marketers. They don't care about the marketers. They care about the people the marketers are serving, because it's all user experience. If the users aren't there, there are no marketers. So you have to be thinking that same way. Think about those people in your audience. It's not just butts and seats. It's not just plate lickers or whatever else. They're people you're serving, and you need to have their experience be so smooth, so excellent, that your process is better than your neighbors, because that's how you're going to execute and get production. Yeah.
I just made this decision at some point during our seminar operations series. We're going to do at least a portion of an episode on the conference, like the Calendly setup. So cool. We'll give you that roadmap of exactly what we've set up and the number of text messages and emails. We've had only one person complain about the cadence, and then he realized after and came back and apologized for complaining.
One of our prospects.
Yeah, he said, I got too many notifications. Then he realized it was his calendar that was sending him more notifications than ours. So we've been really, really fortunate there. Little side tip: if you don't have a Google Map or Apple Map page set up for your business, do that, and then put the link to that in those emails and ask for a review.
Boom.
We've already gotten a handful of reviews on the business, positive reviews after that part 2, where they come
That
in.
was smart. I'm so glad you did that.
2 hours after that appointment, they get an email that says, "Hey, thanks for coming in. We're a small business. Would you leave us a review?" And we've had a few of them do it. So it's been a nice little way to boost that local credibility.
Yeah, you just said if you don't have it, let us know and we'll give it to you. Just so you guys know, this show is not like a gated. This isn't us selling anything. We're trying to help you. And if there's anything you ever hear that would be a help, just give us a call and we'll go through it with you.
Yeah.
We're if you're going to work with us if you want to.
Right.
Like if you need marketing, you're going to work with RA. It's built a name. It's built a reputation. We're great at what we do. The campaigns perform. That's all good. If you need something that you hear from this show, just give us a call and we'll go over it. We're open books on that stuff.
Absolutely. Last thing, and then we're going to get into a wrap up from March 30th through August 15th, and we're going to tie up this, put a bow on this episode.
We got a fun one next.
Yep. The thank you cards on the table.
Yeah. Hannah, honestly, for months was telling me, you guys need to put something on the tables, like something on the table. I don't know if it's like a client cards or like testimonials. You need to put something on the table, I was like, okay. Then my mom, I forget where they went. It was some event. And she sent me a picture of this little like bifolded card that was on their table. And it was just information about their company or whatever. And she was like, hey, I don't know if this is a good idea or not. If you want to see it, cool. So then I'm like, okay, Hannah, it's time. Like, I think I've got the inspiration now. I can see what you've been saying. Let's do it. So create this little on Canva, right? Another free app. You don't have to make your own software to make this business work. Get on Canva, make this little bifold card, print them through Canva, and then just fold them over. On one side, it says thank you. On the other side, it's a testimonial. It's a picture of one of our clients with the selfie that we talked about earlier and why we helped her and what it means to us. That was all it was. And we just put them little, cards in front of each place.
Yeah. Super cheap. People don't even take them with them, so we get to reuse them.
Yep.
It's really nice.
It's kind of
and
gross.
Richie has a fun little joke at the end.
Yeah, it's this dumb joke. I want people to look at them, right? Because if they don't see it, it's not meaningful. If only one person in there really sees it and reads it, did it help? Maybe for that one person, but I want it to help for everybody. So right at the end, when we're doing the expectations, right before the meal comes out, I always say like, hey, see those little cards in front of you guys? Those little thank you cards there? Take a look at those, because on the inside of only one of those, there's a red dot. It's only on one of your cards, and whoever has that dot doesn't get dessert. So I'm sorry, that's a bummer. And then they all look at it. Oh, okay, I guess everybody gets dessert then. Cool, thank you for being here. But it gets their eyes on that thing, and I want them to look at it. So it's just a little trick, but super cheap, and I've really enjoyed having that there.
Yeah, it's been a nice little thing. So let's talk about kind of total results for 2023 up to this point. And then we'll go through some quick lessons that we've learned, and then we'll wrap this episode up. So,
okay, do it. Blast through those results. This is 2023
up to this
year
point.
To date,
Yep.
and right now we're sitting in. Is this up till August or up till September?
Up till August.
Okay, up till August.
26 seminar events run, $99,000 spent on. $99,000. Man, that's a lot. $99,000 spent. We have had almost 479 buying units have RSVP'd for our seminar events. We have had 300 buying units attend our events. 123 appointments have been set. We have moved over $5 million in new business, and 4.3 outstanding, either pending or in recommendations. So the recommendations don't really count for much until they actually close, but we've got a portion of that is pending, and a portion of that is in recommendations that have gone through part 3, and then now we're working through a decision-making process. So up to this point, I would say for our very first year doing this, man, those are solid stats. We could always improve. We're definitely going to improve.
Yep.
But I think we're going to close 2023 with, probably 7 to 10, well, maybe not 10, but 7 or 8 million in assets moved, and really proud of that.
Yeah.
We've learned a lot.
So proud of it. And that's what we're focused on, is that we have mentioned on the show, we've lost out on
Millions.
I mean, millions. I don't like legitimately, if we knew what we were doing at that point, and I wouldn't say we knew what we were doing. We just didn't have it. We just didn't have we didn't have the steps in the process.
We were still learning. We were still trying to smooth things out.
Yeah. If it was smooth, we would be right now 40 million.
Mm-hmm.
Like no problem. So you guys can imagine 2024.
It's going to be a big year.
Yeah, Richy and Andrew playing wise. Crystal, Hannah playing wise.
It's
going to be a big year because we've got it figured out. Of course, we're still learning. I'm never going to stop learning. Yeah. We got some plans for some new licenses and different things we're going to go get. So it's all good. But man, I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
First year's been huge.
Yeah. A couple quick lessons that we learned. We need to focus on the areas that produce the highest ROI. There's a market that we've not talked about a ton, but there's a market south of the city, Greenwood. Great city. There's assets there. It's a good area. The problem is it's horribly inconvenient for both Richy and I to get there for appointments, and the venue options there are very, very limited. But I insisted on trying it multiple times, and we did. And we did get in front of assets there, but because of the inconvenience of it, we recognized that this wasn't our spot. And we kind of alluded to it earlier. Noblesville has been our favorite market to go back to. Mm-hmm. But before this August 15th seminar, Richy started doing some math. And the discrepancy between
unbelievable
Noblesville and Zionsville was just so stark.
Yeah, 700%.
Yeah. We had spent 2 or 3 times as much in Noblesville, mm-hmm. and we had written not even a quarter of the production out of Noblesville as we had in Zionsville.
Yep.
So the lesson we learned there is we're going to focus more on the area that's clearly producing more business for us.
Yeah, we have good, especially pending apps right now from Noblesville.
Absolutely.
That will take that up a notch. But if we're looking at it, not emotionally, mm-hmm. and we're looking at it, here's the cities and the venues we've done, boom, 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 boom. First place is absolutely, unbelievably the clear winner. Yeah. No questions asked. So let's start focusing there. Let's start looking there. We've already looked at new venues. We got a cool idea for this next one coming up.
Yeah.
And absolutely, that was pretty good. I'm a huge spreadsheet nerd. I mean, you're speaking my language if you can show me a spreadsheet. Like, you can show me some stats that I can start formulating an image and a picture in my mind. It's game over. So we have a very substantial spreadsheet that, I mean, shows everything from start to finish.
Yep. All right. Well, what do you got on feet today?
These are my first pair of lows, actually.
Those look good.
Yeah, J1 lows. I really enjoy them.
They look sharp.
I don't know for the winter, the little bit, they kind of get the air on the ankles. I mean, I like that. So it's probably a summer shoe, but man, they're nice leather in there.
Yeah.
These are comfy. Of course, I got my toe cards in there.
I have not purchased a pair of J1 lows. I've got several pairs of Dunks, which are effectively the same shape, but just a slightly different pattern of the leather and the cuts and the dyes and things like that. But after seeing these in person, I'm probably gonna have to pick up a pair of lows.
Yeah, I got Hannah a couple pairs of lows too, and she's loving it.
Yep.
Now those just came out. Those are new. Those sold out quick.
They did. These are the Palominos. Ethan made me realize that they're actually pretty close to the Mochas that I would like to get a pair of someday, but they're exorbitantly expensive. The only difference is these are a taupe swoosh and a black panel here and a taupe panel here instead of white and black. So, but they do look really good. They're a great fall shoe. And kind of wear them with anything, black and brown, solid color combo, and really comfortable. So pretty happy with them.
Yep. We had a guy in Nashville, one of our buddies, had a group. I won't name him.
Dude had $9,000 shoes on his feet.
We walked over like, what are you doing in Nashville? Hitting the streets in $9,000 pair of shoes.
And if I bought them in my size,
it's nothing.
In my size, they were $20,000.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
I couldn't believe it.
We wear really expensive sizes, which sucks.
Yeah, our sizes are tough to come by. If you don't get them on the drop, you're paying out the nose for nice shoes. But
StockX will be like, they're only $249, and I'll click into it, and then once I put size 12 in, it's like, never mind, it's $980.
Yep.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. So anyway, I'm not going to buy those. He had the J1 Dior lows, which...
You know who you are if you're watching.
You know who you are.
You're crazy.
You're insane.
Yeah, I hope you clean them.
You better clean those things up because...
All right, let's wrap this thing up. Hey, next episode, we're taking a field trip.
And
I'm pretty excited about it.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
I'm pumped.
So tune in for the next episode. We're going to take you across the street, show you a venue.
All right.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Did we both just
sink that so
hard?
Did
we both just think, guys? Yeah.